Hi guys, and welcome back, welcome back to the Storytime Society, or welcome to the Storytime Society. Thank you for being here. I love you so much, and if you haven't already, press the subscribe button. Also, the first thing I want to say is comment, because you guys know I want to chat with you. Comment. At the end, at the beginning, well, I'd more like you to comment what you think about things throughout the episode, because I would love to actually have a chat with you guys, because I like to know what you guys are thinking. But if you just want to say hi, that's also fine, because hi. So I have my water in my cute little hydro flask. Should I be like a makeup YouTuber? You know, when they do this and is it focusing? Probably not. But this is only my second bottle of water today, which isn't good because I'm supposed to be drinking 2.5 of these, which I have been, other than today. You know, it was a little off track today. It's fine though. We're not going to beat ourselves up over it. And you shouldn't either, because that's a big thing that I'm trying to learn right now with this journey of not being obsessed with the way that my body looks. Even though every time I take my clothes off and look in the mirror, I am. And I'm like, is that really what I look like? That's a whole other topic that I could talk about for about 3 hours. And you guys know, because I bring it up a lot. But I have nothing really else to say, because I'm filming this episode right after I just filmed the last episode. But actually, today I will be home from Massachusetts. I will have gotten back yesterday. Happy Friday, by the way. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF. I think we get in Thursday. We got in last night at 10 p.m. I'm pretty sure. Or wait, no. I think we get in actually at 7. So, yeah. I will have been home for the night, and then that's about it. But, yeah, so we're going to get right into the episode. I already have this story picked out because it's at the top, and someone from the Storytime Society subreddit actually cross-posted this. If you're not a part of the Storytime Society subreddit and you want to be a part of it and you want to share stories of your own, or you want to cross-post posts on there, or copy and paste posts or whatever, except if you do copy and paste posts, credit the original Reddit user, because I don't know if it's your original story or if you copied and pasted it, unless you credit the original Reddit user. But yeah, the link is below if you want to join it, and I would love for you to join it and share anything you want. Well, mostly stories or asking for advice or whatever, you know. Oh, also, someone commented that I was she said that I sucked or something because of my opinion. And let me just say that this is a safe space for opinions. Unless you're being an absolute asshole and you're being just hateful, then no, your opinion is not welcomed. But to criticize me and tell me that I suck for my opinion on something, when it's I'm just stating how I would feel about that situation, for the love of God, please, we all have our own opinions, and it's totally fine if you don't agree with mine, but there's no need to shoot me down like that. So, positive energy only, because also you have to remember that, obviously I'm here to entertain you guys and tell stories, but this is also, my YouTube channel, and I don't want people commenting, hateful things, because I most likely will block you. Because I also just don't, I don't want that for this channel. I don't want that for other people to see, and I don't want that for myself to see. So obviously I know that when I'm posting on YouTube, I'm opening myself up to that kind of stuff, but once I see that kind of stuff, you will be blocked, because we are having nice people, positive energy only over here. And I'm not saying that you have to agree with every opinion and every take that I have, because you absolutely don't. You can 100% disagree with me. You can have a completely different opposite opinion as me. I don't care. I do care. But I don't care in that way. You know, I'm not going to be well, you're wrong, because obviously everyone, I always say, everyone has their own life experiences that lead them to the way that they think and to form opinions in the way that they do. So I do not fault anyone for the way that they think about anything. And also sometimes I learn from you guys, and I learn from you guys know that when I read comments, obviously like I don't like completely sway, but when I read other people's comments, I learn from them. And then I'll be like, you know what? Actually, now I see that. I see that part. That's something that I didn't really think about and stuff like that. So obviously, if you guys have like a differing opinion than me, you are more than welcome to comment it, disagreeing with me in a polite manner. And I would love to see it because I love to see what you guys think, and I love to learn from other people because obviously I'm not perfect. I'm 26 and I've done a lot of growing and I've changed a lot throughout my life. Like my opinions from when I was little to like now are so different, obviously, because you evolve like your own personal identity and your own personal beliefs. And like when you are at home and stuff, you obviously believe mostly like what your family believes, other than like a lot of there were things that I disagreed with my family about, but a lot of things it's also like just kind of ingrained in you. And then as you go off and you kind of like you grow up, you evolve your own way of thinking or develop your own way of thinking, and then that helps you create your own opinions. And I do have to say that I'm honestly so proud of myself because I feel like over the years, like my whole life pretty much, I feel like I've made such good strides at being more and more open-minded every year. And that's like all I can really ask for myself because that's all I really want to be is open-minded and accepting of others because it's crazy to think that there's like one way to live. And obviously I've talked to you guys about this before, like with Christianity, because I grew up Christian. So there's a lot of beliefs that I was taught and like have basically that like Christianity is the only true religion, the only right religion. And that was just like such a hard thing for me to wrap around like my head, for me to what am I saying? For me to wrap around, I don't know. For me to like truly believe, because how can I literally know nothing. I know nothing. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a fucking expert. I'm not an terrestrial, I don't know how to say that word, being. I don't know anything. So like to think that I know the truth and the way and the light is insane to me because I don't. No one does, in my opinion, unless you died and you can't tell your story because you're dead. So that's pretty much my take on things. I don't know how I got like from someone commenting to me talking about my religious upbringing, but obviously I don't know what is right. I don't know what's the truth in the world. I don't know why we're here. No one knows why we're here. There's obviously theories and science and things like that, but does anyone truly know? Can anyone truly say this is why we're here? This is what happened in the past? Like, no. This is what happens after you die? No. I truly don't even believe that like people that do die for like a couple minutes and come back to life, like I don't think they even know because everyone's experience is different. So maybe everyone's experience is different when they die. Maybe. I don't know. We won't know until we die. So I just hope if I believe hard enough that there is something beautiful after I die, that maybe there really will be something beautiful after I die because I would love for that. And if not, that's also fine. If it's just nothing, that's fine because I'll never know. But anyways, let's get to story time because we could go on for a while about that, to be honest, but I would much rather have someone talking with me about that than just like talking at someone, because I would like to have like a back and forth, not an argument at all, but like just seeing what other people think and like how they think about that. You know what I mean? It's very interesting to learn about. The first title of the first story is, Am I the asshole for telling my brother-in-law his daughter would grow up to hate him? For as long as I can remember, my brother-in-law has been creepily obsessed with my sister, but because he's attractive and has money, everybody likes to pretend it's cute. I don't know how he convinced my sister to finally give him the time of day, but that's a story for a different day. Anyway, they've been married for 4 years and have a 3-year-old daughter together. I'm convinced that the only reason they even have a kid is because my sister has always wanted kids and she would have left his ass if he didn't agree to having one. The reason I think this is because he's outright said my sister is the most important person to him, even after their daughter had been born. And when their daughter was in the hospital, he only came home because my sister told him she was scared and not because he was worried about their daughter. He admitted this himself. I think my niece and sister both deserve better, but I usually bite my tongue to keep the peace. And because he has a way of always making the other person look like the bad guy in front of others, so I knew I would get a lot of backlash if I said anything to him. But recently he missed his daughter's birthday because he went on a work trip that could have been moved or canceled. So since my niece is so young, my sister celebrated her birthday twice, since she wouldn't really know the difference. During her second birthday party, he was completely unbothered and wasn't giving his daughter any attention. He was too busy watching my sister the entire time. I felt so bad for her because she's a complete daddy's girl and just wanted him to play with her on her birthday, and he wasn't encouraging her at all. The only time he bothered to give her attention was when my sister was around. Eventually, it was just me and my brother-in-law, and I told him he should give his daughter more attention, and he just scoffed and claimed that he did. In parentheses, he absolutely doesn't. I asked him if it had been my sister's birthday, would he have went on that trip, and he wouldn't answer because we both know the answer is no. I can't remember exactly what else was said, but he told me to mind my own business, and I was feeling pretty angry on my niece's behalf, so I told him that he shouldn't be surprised when one day she was all grown up and hated his guts. I also said that my sister would catch on and she would hate him too much. And she would hate him too, which I think got to him more than the comment about my niece. As I mentioned before, he has a way of making the other person look bad, so he spun a story to my sister, and now she's upset with me because I won't apologize to him. Am I the asshole? So the consensus is that he is the asshole, is what the little like tab at the top says, which I can honestly understand why he would be thinking that, or she would be thinking that, because of the evidence that she's gathered, but definitely taking it too far, like saying that to him for sure. And she doesn't really know what goes on behind closed doors. Like, she can obviously say, like, interpret things in a certain way, but she doesn't know truly, right? Obviously, it's like, I think it's warranted to be a little bit worried. Like, do you care about her or what? Because, like, obviously, it's kind of upsetting to see that it seems like you don't care, but definitely not. Like, I don't know. It seems like you definitely already had a bias beforehand, like a predetermined, I don't know, what's the word? Predetermined judgment, prejudice. Is that what the word is? Prejudice? I don't know. But you obviously judged him beforehand and you kind of like stuck to your guns with that. Like, you just don't like this guy. And I honestly don't think that you should be around him that much, or you should just ignore him and not involve yourself, because it doesn't seem like it's in anyone's best interest, really. Like, also, if your sister is happy with him and loves him, you should trust your sister's judgment unless she tells you otherwise. But the first person or the first comment says, "You're the asshole. It's never in your best interest to mind others." It's never in your Okay, sorry. It's never in your best interest to mind others' business. Their family matters shouldn't be one you should be stressing out. I don't think an ancient Mesopotamian city-state is really affected by this ordeal. I usually hate when people comment on typos, but this one made me laugh. That's funny. I have no idea. I'm going to just skip those because those are all jokes, which I don't really feel like reading them right now because I don't even understand. Okay, it would get on my nerves that my brother-in-law was a no-show at his kid's birthday party, but I'd have to accept that it's not my business like that. And the 3-year-old didn't miss him and won't remember he wasn't there. Someone commented back to that. I adore my nieces and nephews, and their happiness is a paramount to me. If their dad missed one of their toddler/preschool birthdays because of his business trip, it wouldn't even register with me as a meaningful disappointment. Like you said, they're not going to remember it, and OPs he could have rescheduled is honestly ludicrous. How do they have any idea whether he actually could have rescheduled it without consequences in the workplace? Do they know the ins and outs of his job, workplace relationships, what his boss is like, what the business trip was for? Was it for a conference or meeting that he had no control over? A project that had deadlines? Like, work trips are not for fun. It's rarely easy to just reschedule them. And thinking he should have moved a work commitment because of a 3-year-old's birthday? What? Honestly, prioritizing your partner isn't creepy. It's healthy and models for kids that they're not the center of the universe. It doesn't mean he's neglecting his child. Honestly, I find OP's overinvestment in his sister's relationship and clear distaste for his brother-in-law before they were even together way creepier than anything he said about their marriage. Wait, why did I think it was a girl that was telling this story? I guess I don't know. I guess we don't know, right? It was just me and my brother-in-law. I told him, I don't think we know if it's a girl or a boy. I don't know. But I could have, like, I felt like it was like a woman or a girl telling that story. I understand the concern, but I don't think that you needed to voice it in that way. And I definitely agree with that commenter saying that, like, a business trip, like, is not, you can't just reschedule a business trip. Like, what do you mean? Obviously, this person, this dad probably provides a lot for his family. I'm not saying he provides everything because I don't know the dynamics of their family, but I'm assuming he wants to keep his job so that he can support his family in any way possible that he does. Next story. Am I the asshole for considering breaking up with my fiance because she did not tell me that her brother had cheated on my sister a few years ago? I, 36 male, have been dating my fiance, 36 female, for 3 years, and I proposed to her last month. I was really sure about this relationship and was looking forward to spending the rest of my life with her until I found out that she hid something very personal from me for years. To give some background, my sister, 34 female, and I have an on-off relationship over the last decade or so. We were very close since we were kids and our parents passed away, but our relationship has gone through its bumps for the past decade or so. For example, we're very close now, probably the closest we've ever been, but my sister cut off contact with me for years and blocked me everywhere on social media because I was not putting in effort to maintain the relationship, which was true, but I did not expect her to just cut off contact with me. That really hurt me. She cut off contact with me for 4 years till she reached out to me last year. During these 4 years, she got in a relationship, married, and then divorced, and I had no clue about it. She told me her ex-husband had been cheating on her throughout her entire relationship. After I was engaged, I wanted to introduce my fiance to my sister, but my fiance seemed somewhat nervous about it. I'd only met my fiance's parents and not her brother, but I didn't think too much of it. When I did introduce my fiance to my sister pretty much lost her cool, and she told my fiance to get out of the house and started screaming. When I asked my sister about it, she said my fiance was the sister of her ex-husband, and they both hated each other. She was crying and asked how I could betray her like this. When I asked my fiance about it, she said she did know who I was, but she thought that their relationship was separate from ours, and she saw no reason to mention it to me. She said she loved me, but I was really angry, and I told her that I needed some space. It's been about a month, and my fiance has pretty much been begging me and crying a lot. I do love her, but I feel extremely betrayed that she hid this from me for so long. And if I want to maintain a relationship and my loyalty to my sister, I cannot go through with this marriage. Am I the asshole for considering breaking up with my fiance? What? Yeah, what the hell? She literally obviously was hiding something from you the entire time. I think that's the most insane thing ever. How could you not know? You've been, like, that's insane. She's really been hiding it for 3 years. I don't think you're the asshole at all. I think I would feel the same. If I was like, all of a sudden my boyfriend met my brother or something and was like, what the fuck? Like, they already knew each other, and obviously he knew that was my brother, I'd be like, hello, like, excuse me, call the cops, 911, what's happening? Okay, let's see what the comments are saying. So, your sister and you were estranged when you got together with your fiance. That being the case, I can see why she might not have mentioned it at the time, but I'm surprised she didn't tell you before the meetup if she knew it would go badly. Edit to add, your sister doesn't come out peachy either, though. She cut you off because you weren't trying hard enough, which is a petulant reason to go no contact. Then, when she's on her arse and divorced, she reaches out and has a fit because you're dating the sister of the husband you didn't know she had. Now, you're the closest you've ever been, but didn't introduce her to the girl you've been dating for over 2 years until 11 months after she reached out. Her name must have come up in conversation, surely. And then someone said, this episode of Days of Our Reddit has been brought to you by Shit Shows Unlimited. If your family is made up of your sister, the brother or your brother's, your father and your mother at the same time. What? Or did someone's dog also want to be part of this by fucking the pastor's leg, and now the pastor's leg is pregnant because the leg fucked the dog? Or wait, was it another story of ass hattery and butt fuckery that has no value in real life because you are your own grandpa? What does that mean? Wait, I'm dying. What does that mean? I love that so much, other than like the part that I couldn't understand, but not that you are your own grandpa. I'm crying. Someone said I'm dying, and then someone said I truly think vagina boobs would be a very scary human development. Women already have enough to deal with. They don't need that too. Why am I laughing so hard about that? I can't. I'm like literally crying. I'm gonna have to go with you're the asshole here. There's a reason why you had no idea that your partner's brother is your sister's ex-husband. It's because your sister cut off contact with because you weren't giving her enough attention. Your partner gave you the benefit of the doubt when she had undoubtedly heard all sorts of stories from your sister about why you and she were estranged, but you can't do the same. Also, just a heads up in case you are unaware of the facts of life, your partner has absolutely no control over her brother's dick, but both you and your sister need to be aware of it. Are you going to go through your entire life pandering to a sister who cuts you off? If you don't make 4 phone calls a week to her and give her total autonomy over every relationship you have. If so, good luck being single for the rest of your life and living with your sister when you're old and gray. Okay, honestly, she kind of ate with that. Like, now I'm saying, like, maybe you are the asshole. At first, I was just confused because, like, it's kind of crazy to not tell your significant other that. And I do think that's crazy. Like, I still think that's crazy. I stand by that. But at the same time, that's definitely true. Like, you're just gonna clearly, maybe she didn't want to talk to you about it because you guys just weren't talking. You guys talked for what? You didn't talk for 4 years. That's crazy. I don't really know where I stand on this, to be honest. I can't like truly say because I understand kind of like both sides of it. Like I understand why he would be like upset. Not that she didn't say that your brother cheated on the sister, but the fact that like I'd be more mad that she didn't tell me that she knew my sister. And I don't know, guys, I'm kind of confused, honestly. This is like hard to all the sisters, brother, fiance, my sister, it's kind of confusing me. Oop. So we're just gonna move on because I can't really make up my mind. Like I see both sides and I feel like there are reasons for being upset, and then also there's like another side to it where it's like, okay, are you really gonna go as far as like breaking up because of that when you could definitely just like talk through it and not, you're not gonna marry your sister, so unless would be the craziest thing we've seen on Reddit. My throat keeps like popping in and out. It's so stressful. I hate it. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for not bending over backwards for my parents in order to babysit my 18-year-old sister? My 32 female parents and grandmothers are going on a week-long cruise starting on August 31st. They haven't mentioned anything about keeping tabs on my younger sister. Tonight, my mom texted me saying, I really need you to watch your sister. I told her that I'm going back to work on September 2nd and we'll be gone from 5:30 a.m. and we'll be back in town until 5 p.m. Then I have a boot camp I'm dedicated to. I told her maybe she can stay with me so I can see her in the evenings and check in with her during the day. Apparently, that isn't good enough. Maybe I was a bit blunt over text, but I honestly don't understand what she wants me to do. My sister is 18 and I can't physically be home until 5 p.m. My parents called me and I said she can stay with me so I can see her in the evenings and she won't have to sleep alone. My mom said, so she's just going to be alone? And I said, for most of the day, yes. And she said, wow, okay. My dad was in the background yelling at me. I'm a people pleaser and my parents put a lot of their responsibilities on me as a child. They are used to me bending over backwards for them and putting their/my sister's needs before mine. This is probably the first boundary I've set. Anyway, this whole situation pissed me off, and I said, this is wild, make it make sense, which made them more mad. I got off the phone and blocked them for the night because what I'm not going to do is let them stress me out. I came a long way with my mental health for this. Am I the asshole for not doing more and snapping at them? Is there something more that I can do? That makes me want to throw up on your parents' face. I would be like, how about fuck you? Also, this girl is 18 years old. She can be home during the day. What do you want? Do you want this girl to quit her job to watch your 18-year-old daughter? truly make it make sense, because it doesn't. She also put edited to add, she is not mentally or physically impaired in any way. She is a little immature, but fully self-sufficient, and she generally doesn't make poor decisions. Yeah, I was thinking that, but then obviously I think that would be something that you would mention in the first place, because obviously if that were the case, then that makes sense why they wouldn't want her to be alone. But like, she's an adult. She's literally 18 years old. When I was 18 years old, I was living on my own. I was living by myself. I'm a little confused about that. Let's read some of the comments. Not the asshole. It is important that you establish the simple fact that you are an adult with a job. If your parents believe that their 18-year-old child, if she's still in high school, needs supervision, then they needed to book someone to provide that service before they made their travel plans. If your parents leave their child alone, that's on them. And then OP said, she graduated from high school a couple of months ago. I agree. It's like they assumed I would watch her. It is really out there because you are an adult with a job, and they seem to have presumed that you would just take a week's vacation to keep her company. Also, doesn't your sister have a single thing to do? No college, no job, no nothing? The extra insane part is that they're treating the adult younger sister like she's younger than a preteen. Why does the sister need to be watched at all? That's what I was thinking. She's 18. Who needs a babysitter at 18? I was babysitting kids when I was like 14, which God knows why somebody trusted me with their kids at 14, but I didn't do anything bad. But it's like, girl, I would never let a 14-year-old babysit my kids. 14? But like 18? Yeah, I fully was a full, like, grown adult. I definitely thought I was more adult than I actually was. But like, I babysat kids all the time, and I took care of babies. I took care of my niece. I literally was like her second parent for like the first year of her life, because my sister lived with us before, like when she was pregnant, and then for the first year of my niece's life. So I helped a lot, and I feel like I could have literally had a baby myself and like fully raised the child, because I learned so much. Like, obviously I don't remember everything now, but I learned so much about taking care of babies. And even before that, like, I definitely have babysat like babies before, but from like newborn to, and she was a little baby, and she was in the NICU because my sister had to have a C-section, an emergency C-section, which, goddamn, they literally cut her open from fucking coochie to up to her belly button. Like, it seemed like they didn't give a fuck. Like, they literally just went, give me, like, they were literally closing their eyes, and they were like, this tool's perfect, and then they just cut her open and grabbed the baby out, which, obviously I didn't want her to die. She was, like, in a life-threatening state. She was literally going to die if they didn't get her out of my sister quick enough, and the baby was also going to die because my niece was also going to die because her heart was like stopping. It was like pausing, like skipping a beat, and the heart rate was like slowing down a lot because she was 2 weeks late, I think, and they wouldn't induce her for like so long. They let her freaking toast and roast up in there for so long. I would have been like, give me fucking whatever you give someone to make me have this baby. Like, I don't want this thing in me any longer. And yeah, that was a crazy situation because we were there, and then we were there 1 minute, and the next, my niece was naked, screaming on the table. And I was like crying my eyes out because she was so cute. Oh my God. And I had a dream about her before she was born, and I literally pictured her to look exactly what she looked like. And I was like, she was the cutest fucking baby ever. And I was obsessed with her. So I love her so much. She's literally like, how old is she now? I think she's 10 or 11. She was born in 2012. She's 12 now, I think. Actually, no, she turns 12 this year, October 13th? October, I think it's 13th, but I could be wrong. I always think it's 13th because my sister was born on Friday the 13th, but I love that girl. She's so cute. We literally were best friends, and I feel so sad because I moved away for college, obviously, and I would come back home a lot in college, like, especially the first year. Like, I lived at home during the summer, and I would come home a lot. And so I got to spend a lot of time with her, but obviously, like, as I've grown up, I don't come home as often. I come home usually, like, once a year. So we don't get to talk that much. And obviously she's like 12, so she's like living her own life and doing her own things, which I don't blame her for at all. But I hope that like as she gets older, when they like obviously go through the phase of like not really wanting, they're like too cool for their family and then they just want to like be friends with people. You guys should see my cat right now. He looks so cute. He's literally on his back like this. It's so cute. But when they like don't like their family anymore and then you grow up a little and then you realize how much you love your family and you're like, wait, I want to be a best friend. I can't wait for that stage. But also I can because like she's growing up so fast. She's 12 years old. How is she 12 years old? Sorry guys. Don't blame me for yawning because it's 9:48 p.m. Seriously. Because some people get mad at me for yawning and I can't help it that it's 9:48 p.m. right now and I'm tired. I actually am so tired because this morning I woke up so early I went to bed so late last night. Okay, next story. Ready? Am I the asshole for asking my cousin to leave my baby shower because she wouldn't stop talking about her fertility struggles? 34, female here. I'm currently 7 months pregnant with a girl. 3 years ago, I was pregnant for the first time with my son and I had a stillbirth. It was a sad and horrific experience for both me and my husband. I wasn't sure if I wanted to try again because I was so sad and afraid, which is why I waited so long to have my daughter. This pregnancy has been beautiful, but also has obviously stirred up a lot of old fears and emotions. The good news is that everything is going well so far, and my husband and I are both so excited and grateful. Last weekend, my mother-in-law and mother threw a baby shower for me. They both know the pregnancy has been difficult at times and really wanted to make it a positive event and help me celebrate. They invited several of my friends as well as relatives. One of the guests was my cousin, who I'll call Caitlin, 35, female. I love Caitlin, but she has the tendency to make things all about her. She has a beautiful little girl, 4 female, and is currently trying for another child. I know she has a hard time getting pregnant for a second time and has tried IVF. I know she really wants a second child, so the experience has been difficult for her. Anyways, during the shower, my guests who have children were going in a circle and giving me advice. Everyone was so kind and positive, which I really appreciated. But then I got to Caitlin and she started crying and saying that I should always appreciate my child because she's a gift from God. She then started talking about how lucky I am, and I told the entire table about her fertility issues and how she's had such a hard time getting pregnant. This went on for about half an hour, and it completely shifted the focus from my daughter to Caitlin and her fertility issues. Even after we were done with this activity, Caitlin was crying and talking to several of my guests about her infertility. At one point, I went into the kitchen to help my mom tidy up, and Caitlin came up to me and started talking about how difficult the baby shower has been for her. To be honest, I snapped. I told her I understand she's going through something difficult and I have a ton of empathy for her, but the day was about celebrating my daughter. I told her if it was too much for her, she shouldn't have come at all, and I would have fully understood. I also explained to her that after my stillbirth, it was bittersweet seeing her and my other friends with their beautiful, healthy babies, but I never made events that were about my friends and their children about me and my loss. In fact, my cousin's daughter was christened a few months after I lost my son, and I selfishly had a difficult time watching the ceremony because I was thinking about my baby. I didn't tell anyone this because I didn't want to take away from her daughter's special day, and my husband and I both smiled through the ceremony and celebrated with everyone else. I also told her that the pregnancy has brought up all kinds of different emotions, and I wanted a day of love and happiness with my loved ones. Caitlin basically accused me of minimizing her feelings and not understanding that everyone handles loss differently. She said her reaction was a normal response to what she's been going through. I basically said if she wasn't in the place to celebrate me or my daughter, I understand, but she needs to leave. She went and got her mom, and they both stormed out of the event. After the guests left, I told my mother and mother-in-law about our conversation, and they agreed that she was being completely inappropriate and insensitive. My mother-in-law even said that she wanted to ask her to leave because it was so tone-deaf. I got a call from Caitlin's mother today, and she expressed that she was astonished by my lack of empathy for Caitlin and what she's been going through. She told me if I don't apologize for kicking her out of the baby shower, for kicking her out of the baby shower. I'll never be invited at their house ever again. Am I crazy for feeling like my complaints to Caitlin were valid? Am I the asshole, and do I owe her an apology? At first, I honestly was thinking that you were the asshole because of the title of the story itself, but this girl, obviously, like, as much as you have empathy for someone, and as sad as that is that you're struggling with infertility, like, that's not something that you should be bringing up and crying about at your cousin's baby shower. That's ridiculous. And I truly think that the way that OP went about it was very respectful. Like, I think saying that is totally understandable. I think being like, I totally get if you're upset and you don't feel like you're in the right place to celebrate me, but obviously you've proved that you're not, and I just want you to leave because you're completely making the day about you and your fertility struggles, which is so sad that you have those struggles, but this is not the day for it. Like, that is very much lacking self-awareness, and that's crazy. Like, you can talk to her about it any other day you want, but it's like, what? And also, it's really sad. Like, stillbirths are so sad and so hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, obviously I know that it's possible, but it's so crazy that like somebody can have such a health, which this is literally gonna give me anxiety. Oh my god. Because I know that during my pregnancy I'm gonna be so anxious about everything, like what could go wrong, because I never think about what could go right, ever. I always just think about what could go wrong. And I feel like I'm gonna be so anxious because it's like, from what I've heard about like stillbirths that I know of, which I'm sure every stillbirth is different, but everything is like perfect. Everything is going swell. There's nothing wrong with the baby all throughout the pregnancy. And then sometimes they don't even figure out until they literally like give birth, which is so sad and so crazy. Like, birthing a child and then just having to, basically, you go through postpartum and you grew that whole ass human in your belly for 9 months. You birthed that whole human out of your coochie or C-section or however you had the baby. And then you don't even get the reward of going through all of that, because that's a lot to go through. And then you have to just have milk coming out of your boobs but no one to feed it to. Like, that makes me want to cry. I can't even imagine that pain, and I'm so sorry if you have ever gone through that, because that's genuinely so hard for me to like even wrap my head around. It's like the saddest thing. That makes me want to cry. That's so sad. I can't. Okay, I'm gonna stop thinking about that. So we're gonna read some of the comments. A half an hour, not the asshole. That's some toxic BS you should avoid in your future too. I know you love her, but it's okay to love someone and keep your distance for your mental health. This is where someone who wasn't OP should have redirected the conversation and or get Caitlin out of the room, not the asshole. I, with the power of, yeah, I've had it worse, would have been like, oh yeah, infertility is so upsetting. After I had my hysterectomy due to cancer, I had a really hard time with the idea that I'd never be able to get pregnant. You must be so glad you already have a kid, Caitlin. I can't imagine how wonderful that must feel. I'm sure you're as eager as the rest of us to congratulate OP, aren't you? So, everyone, let's compare schedules. We need to figure out who's going to be on call when and if OP and her husband have an emergency. Sometimes you just can't redirect people, though. A few of us were trying to do that. A few of us were trying to do just that unsuccessfully with a colleague who is dealing with a difficult issue. True, sometimes you have to be more direct, and sometimes it's a train wreck and no one knows how to make it stop. Yeah, this probably needed someone to say, "Oh, poor dear Caitlin. This is obviously just too hard for you. Let's get you into another room where XXX and I, not XXX, XXX and I can look after you until you're feeling better. Come on, let's get Caitlin into the kitchen wherever we can take care of her." And I think this might be just about the only situation where I'd be willing to actually put my hands on someone and just flat out pulling them out of their chair and dragging them away. Your feelings are valid. Caitlin's focus on her own struggles during your baby shower was inconsiderate and disrupted your celebration. It's important to have boundaries, and her behavior was inappropriate. This wasn't a group therapy session, and even if it had been, her half-hour emotional dump would have been considered monopolizing of even that. What a horrendously narcissistic bitch. Okay, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. I think that I can understand, like, obviously I don't think she's in the right at all. But it's like when you are going through something hard like that, you know, maybe it kind of clouds your judgment because it's like that's all you're thinking about and you're struggling so much that it's like you feel like everyone cares. Well, okay, everyone, I'm sure everyone cares. And I don't want to say that like no one cares, but I feel like you think everyone around you thinks and cares about it as much as you do. But obviously, everyone else has their own worries. Everyone else has their own life experiences. Everyone else has their own struggles. And sorry to say, but they probably aren't wanting to listen to you talk for 30 minutes at someone's baby shower about this. I'm sure, like, a lot of people there would be willing to talk to you for however long you wanted to talk about it somewhere else, somewhere not at someone's baby shower. Ugh, my legs are like actually about to fall off. Okay, guys, we have come to the end of the episode, and I'm so sad to say this, but so that was the last story of this episode. It's also 9:59 p.m. and I'm getting a little eepy. Except I'm not gonna go to bed. I'm probably gonna eat something because I've been starving for the past like hour, 2 hours. And I'm gonna probably pack, do some self tanner, paint my nails, and dye my eyebrows because these bitches be getting so light. And my hair is like dark now, so when I have light eyebrows, I feel like I look crazy if I don't dye them. But I always dye them. Just for Men beard dye. I've been using that shit not since I was like 16 years old, and it's literally the best ever. And it never like damages my eyebrows or anything. So just to let you know, if you ever want a cheap way to dye your eyebrows, it's like $11 at Target or like Walmart. You could probably get it on Amazon, but I don't know how much it is on there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate if you comment. And I love you guys. You guys are the best. And I really love talking to you guys. Okay. But that's really all. I'm just gonna, my rib is breaking right now. It's like me sitting in this position. I've been sitting in this position for like 2 hours now. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Don't know when. No, yeah, I do. Tuesday. Okay.